Africa's food systems, from heads of state to government leaders, renowned chefs, researchers, captains of industry, students, young farmers, their focus is one: Africa's food systems. Welcome to AGRF 2021, exploring the pathways and actions needed to steer the continent's food systems forward. Join us from 6th to 10th September 2021. The venue, Nairobi, Kenya. Virtual hosted by Kenya and AGRF Partners Group. The theme, Pathways to Recovery and Resilient Food Systems. Register now at www.agrf.org. See you there.
Good evening, this is KBC Channel 1 Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora, and guess who's back?
My name is John Kago, right here on KBC Channel 1. Now, every Friday we bring you up to date on the news that's shaping up within and without our borders, the John Kago way.
We also bring to you the latest interviews that touch on arts, entertainment, music, social matters, right here, the Shiksha Arora way. So join us every Friday at 9 p.m.
on Easy Friday, right here on KBC Channel 1. See you then.
An old crime.
I've had it.
So, you should have never come into my life. So far and yet so close, always.
The Amazons. They are here.
A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for creating time to catch the latest right here on Prime Edition. Always a pleasure to do this for you. Indeed, it is a night. A lot has been happening today. Good news, bad news. Our country today is mourning the death of a strong powerhouse, a lady who is remembered for the footprints she left in the politics of this country and also being a pioneer in Safari Rally. And we remember her for her unapologetic fashion sense. And I can go on and on. We remember Orie Rogomanduli. We have lost her today. That is among some of the news that we got for you contained in our comprehensive news bulletin. Welcome.
And of course, when we speak about Orie Rogomanduli as a strong woman leading this country, politically being an ambassador, and that conversation, and it's sad, you know, she dies just the night when we're having a conversation on issues gender and equality. And in studio tonight, we'll be hosting the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission, Dr. Joyce Mutenda, and we'll be talking to her about, 10 years on after this commission was formed, what have been the achievements of this commission. That conversation is upcoming a little bit later, but for now, the highlights.
President Uhuru Kenyatta declares ongoing drought a national disaster as 2 million Kenyans face starvation.
And I think as government, tumefika kwa ukuta na tusonge tena. We can only go forward. And they're going to have to feel the pinch of government.
TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket arrested in connection with banditry attacks in Laikipia, with Interior CS hinting at escalation of security operation. And Rogo Manduli, no more. Curtain falls on the flamboyant and indisputable Queen of Headgear. All right, we got details about that and much more. Please start interacting with us right away. Use the hashtag Prime Edition, and we are welcoming you to interact with us on our social media handle at KBC Channel 1. My name is Serfine Achieng. Our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. Welcome to the broadcast. TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket and former Laikipia North MP Matthew Lempuker have been arrested in connection with banditry attacks in Laikipia County.
The two are being held separately for questioning in connection with a deteriorating security situation in Laikipia that has left several people dead, hundreds of cattle stolen, and property of unknown value destroyed.
According to the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natambea, preliminary investigations indicate that the attacks are politically instigated. Have a look at the details.
TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket was arrested in connection with the ongoing skirmishes in Laikipia County that have left several people dead and hundreds of families displaced. Kamket was arrested on Wednesday at his Kositei home in TRT, Baringo County, and driven to Nakuru for grilling, pending arraignment in court. Also in police custody over the attacks is former Laikipia North Member of Parliament Matthew Lempuker, who was arrested Wednesday morning at his home in Rongai and will be in police custody until Thursday.
Your Honor, this time that we are playing this honorable court, if granted, will give us at least time to ensure that peace will come back to normalcy in Laikipia County.
It is not possible that a gentleman who attended a leaders' meeting yesterday could actually be one who is running away. Your Honor, what is before you is essentially a case of harassment.
According to Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natambea, the two leaders are believed to be among those inciting the attacks in Laikipia County.
Na hawa vijana hawezi kuwa wanacoordinate peke yao. Ni viongozi wanafanya haya maneno. Mtu akienda kule Nairobi anajifanya huko tu bila ni muungwana. Lakini akikuja pale anapangia watu wengine wa Kenya wenzake, anawapangia maafa, na injuries. And I think as government tumefika kwa ukuta na tusonge tena. We can only go forward, and they're going to have to feel the pinch of government. And as we said, it doesn't matter what your rank is. You're going to see some very, very senior officers of Kikamatwa. The moment we have concrete evidence.
Natambea said security teams have been deployed in volatile parts of the county in a bid to restore calm following the latest attack that left 8 people dead and 6 others injured.
Tumeweka usalama wa kutosha mahali wananchi wanakaa ili wasikuja kuwa harassed na wa jamaa ambao wanatoka. Pia tumeongeza wala askari wa ziada. Kumekuwa na ile outcry kwamba NPR walisolewa alafu watu wakaathirika. So hiyo sehemu hiyo, kwa sababu ile kazi ambayo inafanyika saa hizi na challenges ambazo ziko, maana mnajua wakora wana target isolated homesteads, mahali ambapo hatuwezi kuwa tumeweka askari kila mahali. So tumesema kwamba tu embed au askari wetu wa ziada wakae na wananchi, kama kuna jambo linafanyika wanatusaidia.
For Prime Edition, I'm Serfine Achieng.
All right, and obviously the situation will be getting back to the situation in Laikipia in a bit, but for now let's focus on the drought situation in the country. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has declared the drought affecting parts of the country a national disaster. President Kenyatta has directed the National Treasury and the Ministry of Interior to spearhead government efforts coordinating distribution of water, relief food and livestock uptake efforts. The National Drought Management Authority has warned that more than 2 million Kenyans are facing starvation due to the ongoing drought.
Kenya's drought situation has worsened this year, following below average long rains between March and May this year. This has affected food security in more than 10 counties in arid and semi-arid areas. The National Drought Management Authority has said the dry spell has left over 2 million people already experiencing food insecurity. To deal with the situation, President Uhuru Kenyatta has declared the drought affecting parts of the country a national disaster. President Kenyatta has directed the National Treasury and the Ministry of Interior to spearhead government's effort coordinating distribution of water relief, food and livestock uptake efforts. A statement from State House has said a detailed drought response strategy will be released in the coming days. A statement from State House has said a detailed drought response strategy will be released in the coming days. The decision follows today's meeting between the head of states and 85 leaders from Kenya's arid and semi-arid lands. Elsewhere, President Kenyatta has urged players in the agriculture sector to adopt data-based farming to improve food security on the continent. Speaking during the African Green Revolution Forum, President Kenyatta said digitizing agriculture will help attract more young people into the sector and increase agriculture production.
We are remodeling Kenya's food systems into one that exploits the vibrant energy of our youth, thereby making it more inclusive, innovative, collaborative, as well as dynamic.
The forum brings together various stakeholders in the public and private sector to seek solutions to challenges facing the agriculture sector in Africa.
Agricultural sector transformation and growth strategy that my administration is currently reforming the sector by increasing output and productivity, boosting incomes in agribusiness, and ensuring household resilience and food security.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now on to matters politics. Deputy President William Ruto has asked the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai to decline what he termed as political assignments and discharge his duty impartially and with diligence. Ruto says the ongoing skirmishes in Laikipia have exposed serious lapses in the country's security service, which ought to be addressed before they spiral out of control.
Deputy President William Ruto wants Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai to demonstrate to Kenyans that he runs an independent office that is not swayed by politics.
The moment citizens are not sure that security is going to be provided without political considerations, then every citizen is going to step forward and support the security apparatus in Kenya.
The Deputy President has in the meantime said the ongoing clashes in Laikipia County are a testament of a lapse in the security service.
Ni vizuri waketi chini na wananchi wa sehemu ile waelewane, ili wakati wanaendesha mambo ya security pia na wananchi pale mali yao inalindwa, maisha yao inalindwa, na wananchi wa sehemu hizo pia wasaidie katika kuchangia mambo ya usalama kwa sababu ni nafasi yao ya kuwa na usalama.
But we must demand that the security of this country be in the right places to make sure that they are defending the lives and properties of our fellow Kenyans.
And they took the security from you, Excellency. I thought wangepeleka Laikipia, pale watu wetu wanakufa. Aba kuziba hakuna Laikipia, pana machezo. Remember them in prayers. Our people in Laikipia are suffering.
The DP, who met a section of grassroots leaders from Kisii County, renewed his war of words with Raila Odinga over Jubilee's development scorecard.
Mukakuja mukatupeleka kwa mambo ya rege, mukatuambia mambo ya BBI, mukatuambia tubadilishe katiba kwanza ndio mpate vyeo ya kugawana kwa sababu nyinyi ni wengi. Saa hizi mnataka kutuambia ya kwamba ati mnaweza kukosoa serikali ambaye sisi tuliunda. What moral authority do you have to criticize a government, you sabotaged our plan of the Big Four.
State House hakuna kura. Mutaitwa na mwenye State House kwa sasa, lakini mkitoka pale kura ziko hapa.
Wale ambao wanaogopa wajue kwamba Deputy President anatembea na nguvu wengine kule nje hawana.
DP Ruto and Raila Odinga are engaged in a battle of economic policies, with each one accusing the other of losing touch with the needs of a common Kenyan. Still in politics, the Orange Democratic Movement Party leader Raila Odinga has dismissed claims by Deputy President William Ruto that the handshake has slowed down Jubilee Party's development agenda. Raila says, contrary to the DP's claims, the handshake has played a vital role in the delivery of President Kenyatta's development agenda.
Raila Odinga has defended the Building Bridges initiative against claims that it has eaten into the gains made by the Jubilee government.
Nilikuta kama Uhuru alikuwa ameshikwa namna hii ko. Sasa naweza kupumua na kuangalia mambo maendeleo. Utaona pande nyingine barabara zinajengwa, zile manyumba zingine zinajengwa, pande nyingine utaona kama stadium zinajengwa, sio? Lakini haikuwezekana wakati mwingine.
Deputy President William Ruto has maintained that Jubilee's development agenda has succumbed to an alleged political chicanery disguised as the BBI.
Hatujafanya mpango ya Big Four ya kuzalisha nafasi ya kazi kwa vijana, ya kuwashughulikia wakulima wapate soko na cooperatives zao sisimame. Hatujafanya ile universal health coverage.
Sisi tulipoketi chini na Uhuru, nchi ilikuwa inachomeka. Nairobi hii maandamano kila siku, watu wanapigana, watu wanaoana. Tukakubaliana ya kwamba wewe ukisimama pale na nimesimama pande hii, tushikane mkono, tunaweza kuunganisha Wakenya wewe kama kitu kimoja. Hii ni maana ya handshake.
The wisdom of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga was to bring unity and peace in this country. Na kuna wengi ambao hawaelewi hiyo.
Raila spoke on Wednesday when he received a host of political defectors.
Nikajiuliza, am I doing the right thing? Kuenda huko na nimekuwa upande mwingine kwa hizo miaka zote. Nikasema no, bado sikumaliza kile ambacho nilikuwa nafanya katika maisha yangu ya siasa, na ile ni kumpeleka baba State House in 2022.
Lakini kwa saizi ningependa kusema leo hii ya kwamba tumechoka kuendesha wheelbarrow Kibera. Mnakubaliana mimi? Baba ni engineer. Wheelbarrow inatupea kazi mob sana. Wacha tuanze kuendesha magari.
Mimi nilitembea kwa mtandao. Si nilikuwa nimepigwa picha na nani? Si mliniona? Si nilikuwa kwa mtandao. Nilikuwa nimepigwa picha na yeye. Lakini leo, na siogopi, ndio niko hapa ile ikiniona. Ajue mimi UDA sitaenda tena. Na sitadanganywa tena.
The Orange Democratic Movement is looking to re-energize and charge its political base ahead of the 2022 general elections. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, leaving the politics aside, some sad news the country is receiving today. Renowned politician and Kenya's first female rally driver, Kioria Manduli, is dead.
Manduli died on Wednesday at around 3:40 p.m. in a car heading for a dentist appointment.
The one-time politician and ambassador was famous for her bold stand on social issues and stylish outfit each time she stepped out in public.
She is survived by her 3 children. Let's have a look at that story.
Flamboyant politician Kioria Manduli is dead.
I want Mrs. Africa to know that next year I, the first African woman rally driver, is back on the track.
Her family said Manduli, who was Kenya's first female rally driver, having participated in the East African Safari Rally in the 1974 and 1975, could have suffered a heart attack. Her family said she was at home preparing for a visit to her dentist when she lost consciousness at 3:40 p.m.
Now that was a very wise decision for you to fly.
The one-time Kenyan politician and ambassador will be remembered for her boldness in speaking her mind on matters leadership and societal issues. The late lived a colorful life and particularly stood out for her incomparable sense of fashion, mostly the Nigerian attire with the towering headgear. The flashy politician was born in 1948 in Maseno to Gordon Rogo, a school headmaster and later councillor, and Zuria Adhiambo, a teacher at Kisumu Technical College. Besides rallying, she was also the chairperson of Kenya Ladies Hockey Association. Manduli, a former National Council of Non-Governmental Organization chairperson, is survived by a son and 2 daughters. After her first marriage, Manduli is said to have remarried a Zambian politician and cousin to President Frederick Chiluba, Norman Manduli, in 1980. They were together until he passed away in 2003. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Quite an illustrious career of a woman who was really towering, and that headgear, her signature mark.
That one can only be identified by none other than Oriero Manduli.
Yeah.
She warmed our hearts, and every time she came out in public, she was very categorical and unapologetic on what she believed in. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is among leaders who've come out to eulogize this, great lady. And of course, he's just remembering her as a veteran politician and fashion icon, who, as a woman of many fasts and a trailblazer who fought tirelessly for women empowerment.
And the president goes ahead to say it is sad and unfortunate the death has taken away Mama Oriero Manduli, one of our country's most recognizable, highly charismatic and accomplished politicians, a bold leader and mentor. Manduli tirelessly championed for women empowerment.
All right, and he also goes ahead to say that he wishes the family of the late Oriero Manduli God's grace and fortitude and comfort as they come to terms with his sudden death, and also takes time to also remember that signature headgear. The head of state said the departed Oriero Manduli fully embraced the African culture and was recognized as a fashion icon and a trend setter.
Absolutely.
That is indeed true.
Well, it's time for us to take our first breather on Prime Edition, but of course when you come back on Extra Mile, we're hosting the chairperson of the National Gender and Equality Commission, Dr. Joyce Matinda. You don't want to miss that conversation at this point.
For sure.
What we say in KANU Manifesto, maybe sometime in short, we have enlarged somehow in sessional paper. And that's why we want you to read both in consultation. This is work of cabinet, the cabinet work. Collective responsibility. Do you know what that means? Well, why are you so much interested in who done this, who did that? You read the paper. By the time you finish reading the pamphlet, you will find the solution. The cabinet has collectively prepared the document. Well, it is Bible whether it's taught in the street or in churches, we don't mind.
This is KBC Channel 1 Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora, and guess who's back?
My name is John Kago, right here on KBC Channel 1. Now, every Friday we bring you up to date on the news that's shaping up within and without our borders, the John Kago way.
We also bring to you the latest interviews that touch on arts, entertainment, music, social matters, right here, the Shiksha Arora way. So join us every Friday at 9 p.m.
on Easy Friday, right here on KBC Channel 1. See you there.
Kenya's journey to industrialization has been long and tedious. Since 1954, when the colonial government formed the East African Colonial Commission to try and attract more investment into the agriculture sector, to Sessional Paper number 2 of 1996 on industrial transformation. This has been indeed a long journey.
We can't walk away from the journey of industrialization in Kenya. Whatever challenges we have faced, whatever environment that we find ourselves in, it is a worthy focus and goal.
This week on Inside Government, we talk industrialization matters. CS Betty Minor right here on KBC Channel 1.
So tall and beautiful. Meanyu Erishata Autumani.
I've heard them talking about the father of the house, but I've never seen him.
What is this?
I love the smell. Should have told her how you feel. Then what?
It's the fresh homie, busted my face. I'm in Versace, cover my face. Have this flower on an expressive vase. A number in my phone, saved like mace.
It's time for us to get into the conversation on issues of gender and equality. And in studio, like I told you, Dr. Joyce Mutinda, who chairs the National Gender and Equality Commission. And so many times people tend to forget the equality bit in that commission. But she is in studio. First of all, thank you very much, Daktari, for joining us tonight. I mean, from 2018, since he was sworn in by Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, that was in August of 2018. How would you rate your performance as the chairperson of that very critical commission?
I think, thank you very much for having me in studio today. Mm-hmm. And since I took office on the 29th of August 2018, quite a number of things have happened. And the first one was to have a strategic plan for that commission. So there is a strategic plan 2019-2024, which is guiding us on whatever we have to do. And with it also came a new vision. And somehow we looked at our core functions and re-energized ourselves. Now, why am I saying we re-energized ourselves? We said we have other people other than the women. We have women, we have persons with disabilities, we have children, we have older members of society, we have minority and marginalized. And therefore, we decided that we have to encompass all our SIGs. We call them special interest groups. And during this short period, we have championed the issue of having a protocol signed by Kenya for other members of society, so that now they can know that they can claim their rights within the government. We have also, in this short time, gotten the journey, the 2/3 journey. We have put it together in one booklet.
And we're going to talk about that, the 2/3 gender role, because it's very important whenever you have a conversation of this kind. But first of all, the death of Rugo Manduli, a trailblazer when it comes to issues of women empowerment.
My condolences first. This is a lady who broke the ceiling and told us we can be who we want to be, not only in politics, but in professions, and be ourselves, even when it comes to what we have to wear. So this is one lady that I admired. She showed us that we could go, not only men are in safari rally. Now it was each one of us, we felt if she has gone, we can also go. So this is a big blow to us and to the young women of this country, because they were looking up to her. And quite a number of them took a sense of dressing, and they are happy about the African traditional dressing. I must say, now this is a big loss. May the Almighty God rest her soul in eternal peace. That's all I can say to her 2 daughters and the son who have been left behind. Yes, we have lost.
And may she rest in peace. Let's talk about the 2/3 gender rule. 10 years later.
Yes.
Why has been the enactment of this very important piece of legislation? It has been elusive every other single time. Your predecessors, Winnie Lichuma, the chairperson who was sitting where you are sitting today, tried all this time in vain. I'm sure you have tried severally, but it appears like it's still not coming.
Now, I must say there's something that we seem to forget. Article 27 has got also sub-article 6 and sub-article 8. And there are other administrative procedures that can be used to deal with 2/3 compliance. Now, one of those is administrative. So where there is appointive positions or elective positions, we can use that article and enforce 2/3. A case in point is when we gave an advisory on the issue of Chief Justice and also the issue of having Supreme Court judges. We said we must adhere to that, and it was respected. I'm very happy with our government now that we have 2/3 realized in the arms of government. We have 3 arms of government, and in those 3 arms, one is led by a lady, and that is a Chief Justice. The other one is led by a man. Of course, we know him.
Speaker Muturi.
Is Speaker Muturi. And then the other one by His Excellency the President. So that is compliant. Now, coming down, are we getting compliant or not? Think of 2013. This is after this commission was put in place. 2013, 47 women come in the National Assembly. Now, that was trying to bridge that gap. Now, when you go down to the MCAs, the gap has been bridged because they go and nominate to make sure that it is 2/3 compliant. But people are just looking at the National Assembly and the Senate. And I must say the Senate will only require 1 more lady and they will be compliant.
As it is today.
As it is today.
All right.
It will be compliant. Now, when it comes to the National Assembly, that is where the problem is. And why are they not legislating? Because theirs is to legislate. God knows. That's why we are in court.
Right.
I wouldn't discuss that further. But we are still in court and we have documented the journey, the way it has been.
All right. Quite interesting. Let me take you back because you talk about the judiciary. There was a time you issued actually an advisory and said, going by the ongoings of the judiciary, it appears to be, a step towards the right direction in terms of ensuring even the staff working under the judiciary, there's gender compliance. Let's talk about the executive because you say Parliament has a problem and clearly we can see that. How about the appointments being made by President Uhuru Kenyatta in the executive arm of government? Is it gender compliant?
Let me say this, and let me just take you back to judiciary. We audited judiciary. They presented themselves to the commission, and we audited, and we gave them a report, a written report, on what it is on the ground. And I'm glad they are moving in the right direction. Now, we have not audited the executive, which you would want to do, but you are asking, are they compliant? By and large, I would say they are trying to be compliant. They are not there yet.
National Assembly is the one that is not trying.
National Assembly is not trying. I wouldn't say it's trying because their work is to legislate. They should pass the legislation. They have not passed that legislation. They were given 60 days, they were given 90 days. They knew the schedule, but they have not done that. Instead, they have gone to court. When we win a case, they go and appeal. Even now as we talk, there is a case in court because of the same. So I just hope and pray, at times I pray and hope that they are going to be compliant. And there are very many ways in which they can be compliant. And one of them is taking what is in Article 177 of the Constitution, which allows the MCS to be nominated so that they can bridge the gap and they adhere to the 2/3. That is something that can be done in the National Assembly.
I'm dwelling on this because it's a very important matter that, forced the Chief Justice Emeritus, David Maraga, to write to the President to ask him to dissolve the institution of Parliament because it was not gender compliant. And I'm sure that case is already in court because I understand the Attorney General appealed or, filed an injunction against the letter by Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga. Did you join yourselves in this case? Was it interesting to you?
We are in that case.
Okay.
I have almost over 10. advocates of the High Court, some of them senior counsels, who are doing this pro bono. And I'm happy with it, and I don't want to discuss matters that are in court.
Obviously, we can't get into because of the sub judice rule. But let me understand, at least once and for all, from the Gender Commission, are you saying then, from your standing, you would wish that the institution of Parliament is dissolved today because it is not compliant?
If I were to be asked, I would say dissolve it yesterday. You're saying today?
Okay.
It should have been dissolved yesterday so that it becomes compliant. If all these counter assemblies are compliant, why not the Parliament? And why are they not legislating? That is precisely why we are in court. And people call me a perennial petitioner. And for 2/3, I will continue being a perennial petitioner until I get out of office or I attain this. It is a cause that I'm ready to fight.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about, the number of women leaders, because again, we've seen progression. And I think when you listen to some of these members of Parliament who are opposed to implementing the 2/3 gender rule as is in the Constitution, is that they're saying that this rule should have been applied progressively. You look at 2013, there were no women governors. In 2017, we had women governors. 2022 is promising probably we will have more women governors. Would you favor then a progressive implementation of this rule? And most importantly, again, what opportunities exist for women in the coming election?
For me, this progressive story and narrative, I don't think it will get us there.
Okay.
Particularly with our legislators, unfortunately, it will not get us there. We need to do much more. And if in the same Constitution we have Article 177, then I don't see why it can't be applied to Article 98. I don't see the reason why it can't be applied. And again, if we cannot elect, it all begins with the party primaries. If the parties are not giving that which should be there, then what do we expect? Now, in 2022, we are not going to lose the sight on the ball of 2/3. We have told IEBC, when you get the list, the party lists, if they are not compliant,
reject it.
Reject it.
Okay.
And I'm happy that the current chair of IEBC has said he is going to reject. And therefore, the parties have to style up. It is an anomaly when we have 51% of the population is women. And yet, when you go to the National Assembly, the percentage cannot get to 33. Now, that is an anomaly that must be addressed when we are still alive.
Quite shocking. When you talk about equality, because there's been this debate, sometimes I think even the NCIC also was able to do an audit in public service and see, how many communities and how huge they are working in the public service. But let's talk about access to opportunities for all. And most importantly, the people who are disabled. It appears like we're not still there in terms of ensuring that they're well represented.
Now, when we look at, thank you, when we look at our Katiba, you'll be surprised because it's just, the percentage is quite low. But do we have legislation that can assist us? The legislation is there. It is a bill. We call it Article 100 bill. It is in Senate. We participated in bringing this all the way up to where it is, but it is silent.
What is it doing in the Senate?
Now, they are supposed to pass it.
Okay.
And then it moves on to where it is supposed to go. Yeah, it is enacted. But Article 100 has not been done. And this is what would help not only women, but also persons living with disabilities. There are other articles that take care of that. But when we don't have the legislation, because one of the problems of NGEC or National Gender and Equality Commission is when we want to enforce, because we can only issue advisories. And when somebody does not adhere to the advisories, we go to court. Now, that is not the best way to deal with things. Traditionally, we had to deal with this via wazee, and that is what I think should be happening. Not running to court. Yes.
You were celebrating 10 years the other day of the formation of this commission, and you've talked about your strategic plan 2019 to 2024, quite an ambitious one, and you had like about 5 pillars. Tell us, how you've been able to, or whether you have been able to achieve some, and what are the yardsticks you're trying to engage to ensure that you're at par with some of these things that are captured in your strategic plan.
No, the strategic plan is quite ambitious, I'll agree. But what we were looking at is our mandate as is.
All right.
Taking it from the Constitution through to our National Gender and Equality Commission Act, number 15 of 2011, and saying we need to do that which is there. And one of the areas that we are pushing very hard is the area of investigation. We are expected to receive complaints and investigate. Now, in the past, for the past, call it 9 years, 7 years, very little of that was done formally.
Okay.
Because there were no regulations. Now, when I took office, you asked what I did. Now, we got the regulations. As I talk to you, the regulations are in Parliament. We have discussed with the National Assembly, the Committee on Delegated Legislation, and they are in agreement that now we need to do the final stage. I'm waiting. If they give me that today, I'll go and gazette it. And then we can now start sitting and hearing these cases and complaints.
When you talk about
Kenyans,
investigations, what are you referring to? You're talking about gender-based violence?
No. The investigations we deal with are on gender equality and discrimination. If anybody is discriminated in this country, let me give you an example of the intersex. They were discriminated. There is no cell for them anywhere in this country. And there were problems. And we went to court, 2014, and we moved on. Now, as I talk to you, I'm very happy because in 2019 we actually counted and we have 1,534 intersex people in this country. Now they have been counted and recognized in law. So this is something that makes me quite feel good.
Okay.
Minority and marginalized. We took, if you wish, a roll call and documented the same. And when we documented, what has happened is now they have been recognized. Even during the census, they were now counted. Now, they are even urging us to go a step further. The other day, I had a complaint from somebody from Marsabit, Wayu, for that matter, Wayu tribe. It's a small one. But I had to petition Public Service Commission in their biometrics to capture that tribe.
All right.
So that when their jobs are being given, they are not discriminated.
Okay.
So the cases we deal with are on gender equality. We want inclusion. We also want non-discrimination.
Right.
Not only of Kenyans, but also of people in Kenya, even if they are foreigners.
I'm constrained of time and I need to wind up. But I need to ask you this because when you were being sworn in, the Chief Justice Emeritus challenged your commission to not create the perception that you only deal with the girl child at the chagrin of the boy child.
Yes.
I don't know how what steps you've made to ensure that that is achievable. That it doesn't look like it's a girls or women's commission, but it deals with gender equality and opportunities.
Thank you. I expected this question. It has taken too long to arrive. Now, we already did a study on this matter of boy child and realized, yes, they are being left behind. And who is leaving them behind? Their own parents.
Okay.
The man has gone away and left the boy to the mother. That is one. But we also found out that they are not left behind in several sectors. And one of those sectors is education. We have 50-50. If you ask our own Professor Magoha, in primary school, in education, and in secondary, they are not left behind. Now, we realize there is something that has been going on during this pandemic. People have been giving dignity kits, and we realize they are being given to girls. And we became a little bit cheeky and said, if what is being given is soap, then it has also to be given to the boys.
Okay.
They also bathe.
Right.
And now we have dignity kits for boys.
Okay.
And when you see this campaign by our own CAS for youth, you have seen Kenya ni Mimi.
Okay.
They are giving boys and girls, men and women. And even MasterCard Foundation, there is a kit now for boys. So,
boys and girls.
So we are not leaving boys behind.
Okay.
We are not leaving other members of society. That is why we took care of their protocol. We are not leaving persons with disability behind. This is why we are talking of inclusive transport.
Okay.
We are not leaving minority and marginalized. That is why I was talking of the biometrics.
Okay.
Intersex, we are not leaving them behind. We are not leaving behind the children.
Okay.
And this is why we say
you're carrying everybody on board.
age,
You're
consent for sex remains 18.
Okay.
To defend the children.
All right. Very good. We have not wound up on this conversation. We hope to have you again on Prime Edition, so we can talk about some of the things we've not spoken about extensively, particularly the consent, for sex and the right age, like you've said, it's 18 years. But for now, we have to wind up because Karo Jenga is up next with business.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali inawekeza zaidi katika miradi inayowasaidia wakulima wadogo kote nchini. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
Our focus is on those sectors whose value chains will provide opportunities for our people and therefore create more jobs.
Sasa watu wetu wa huko mtoni wanavuna, wanapata pesa, wanaenda na saidia watoto wao, na sisi tunasaidika.
Kama ingekuwa hii maji, sisi wafugaji tungekuwa tumemalizika kabisa. So tunashukuru serikali kwa kuletea Bura Irrigation Scheme maji na wazidi kumuongezea.
Wiki hii kwenye Project 2.
Someone is stealing from us.
And their unfulfilled love.
You're going to be my next victim.
The innocent, the Amazons. They are here.
Thank you for joining us as we bring you the latest in the world of business. My name is Carol Jenga. Now, there's need for the East African Community member states to diversify products and jointly market them to the world market. This is according to Industrialization and Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Minor, who believes agro products diversification would help reduce conflict and grow the economies of the members' East African countries.
Contributes about 80% to East Africa's economy. However, East Africa member states have common agricultural exports, which sees them competing against each other. To address this, Industrialization and Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Minor is challenging the business community and investors in Kenya and Uganda to diversify their product portfolio as well as work together in marketing them across the world.
The East African market is not enough to provide returns for you as investors alone. We need to think further and embrace wider markets, whether it is in COMESA, whether it's in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, or further afield.
The two said Kenya and Uganda were addressing non-tariff barriers as well as other challenges hindering the free movement of persons and cargo.
We welcome and encourage Uganda not just to sign the EPA, but also to start the journey of implementation, because none of us can meet the demand in those markets alone.
It is imperative that we refocus our effort and commitment on enhancing intra
Kenya-Uganda trade by addressing the key bottlenecks to economic integration, industrialization among the two economies.
They made the remarks at the ongoing Uganda and Kenya Agribusiness Symposium and Expo in Shanzu, Mombasa County. For Prime Edition from Mombasa County, I am Ann Mburu.
The Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs and the World Bank Wednesday released 120 million shillings to support organizations that create income-generating opportunities for the youth under an initiative dubbed the Future Bora. Youth Affairs Principal Secretary Charles Sankuli said the initiative aims at empowering as well as create job opportunities for the vulnerable and underserved youth. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that more than 4 million youth have no jobs. It is estimated that the youth unemployment rate in Kenya doubled this year to 10.4% as employers downskilled or shut operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As Kenyans continue to struggle with the tough economic times, the government has rolled out Future Bora initiative targeting to empower the unemployed youth by infusing capital into organizations that are creating income-generating opportunities for the youth who are often affected by conflicts, persons with disabilities, single mothers, and those marginalized areas. And Wednesday, the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs and the World Bank have awarded 120 million shillings to Afya Research Africa, Hydroponics Africa Limited, Life in Abundance Kenya, and Takataka Solutions Limited for coming up with transformational solutions that create economic empowerment opportunities for the vulnerable youth.
The government, in partnership with the World Bank, designed the Future Bora initiative. Through the Future Bora initiative, we are looking into identifying high-impact interventions for creating economic opportunities for the hard-to-serve and vulnerable.
The Future Bora initiative is among projects under the Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project, funded by the World Bank through a 15 billion shillings credit aimed at empowering more than 280,000 youth. Still on ICT, technology has been backed to revolutionize disaster management and should be employed to complement traditional disaster management methods. Kenya National Commission for UNESCO Deputy Secretary General Dr. James Njogu says artificial intelligence chatbot application offers warning systems on disasters, therefore enhancing the safety of citizens. Let's take a look.
Barely a week goes by without reports of disasters such as floods, fires, road accidents and buildings collapsing, among others, leaving people dead or homeless and poor. Kenya National Commission for UNESCO Deputy Secretary General Dr. James Njogu says Kenya should have a candid conversation on strengthening disaster preparedness.
One of the problems that has been identified is disaster management. So at national level, it can also now be used, and then it will certainly strengthen, particularly with regard to the uptake of the technology by, say, the National Disaster Management Unit. This would be very useful.
Speaking in Kisumu, during a training on artificial intelligence chatbot for disaster risk reduction, Dr. Njogu called for enhanced collaboration between government agencies, saying technology will complement traditional disaster management methods.
The application is uploaded into a mobile phone, and people are being now trained so that they can be able to communicate whenever a disaster is occurring. And when they do communicate through that app, it is picked very quickly and acted upon immediately. So it can also communicate emergencies, not just disaster. So it's a very useful package.
The chatbot application gives intelligent data on risks and allows citizens to be safe in case of disasters, as well as report the same for quick intervention.
That app is not only used for reporting disaster, it has other facilities, but it can be used very well in real-time reporting. And the package has that ability of artificial intelligence to assess, to analyze the data, and be able to tell the extent and the intensity of the disaster.
These risks have been fed into a system, processed, and appropriate responses can be triggered to be able to assist in intervention within our communities.
The application provides warning systems on disasters, therefore enhancing the safety of citizens. The training, funded by the Japanese government, brought together stakeholders in disaster management from the Western Kenya region.
Well, and that is how we wrap up business news for tonight. But you can find these stories and more on our website, www.kbc.co.ke. Have a good night. My name is Carol Jenger. Up next is Richard Munga with the sports.
Usitegemee kupata jino lenye afya kwenye mdomo uliooza. Usikubali kupokea zawadi ya nguo kutoka kwa mtu aliyeuchi. Mapenzi ni kufaana, nifae ni kufae. Hisani ni njia mbili, nipe nikupe. Ila ni muhimu kufahamu kuwa sio binadamu wote watakushukuru hata watendeapo mema. Ukitaka thawabu kutoka mbinguni, we tenda wema tu, uondoke.
Ili kupata skiza tune ya pumzi ya busara, bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 815 hash.
The buildings are so tall and beautiful.
Meanyu erishata autongani.
I've heard them talking about the father of the house, but I've never seen him.
What is this?
I love the smell. Should have told her how you feel. Then what?
It's the fresh homie, busted my face. Ooh, I'm in Versace, cover my face. Carve this flower on an expressive vase. A number in my phone, saved like mace.
Well, good evening. My name is Richard Munga with the latest in the sports world. Now, Vihiga Queens head coach Charles Okere says the Kenyan champions are set to retain their starting 11 when they face off against CBE of Ethiopia in the final of the inaugural CAF Women Champions League Sekafa qualifiers tomorrow. Vihiga Queens beat Simba Queens 2-1 to qualify for the final, while CBE eliminated Lady Doves of Uganda through post-match penalties.
Vihiga Queens will be hoping to become the first country in Sekafa region to participate in the inaugural CAF Women's Champions League when they take to the field against CBE of Ethiopia. Vihiga lost 4-2 in their opening match against CBE before victories against South Sudan's EA Joint Stars and Zanzibar's New Generation. And after a 2-1 win over Tanzania's Simba Queens in the semi-finals, the Kenyans champions will be hopeful not to vengeance against CBE, but also a chance to take sole of the automatic slot for the CAF Champions League finals to be hosted in Egypt later this year.
Itakuwa rahisi kwangu sababu pia mimi niko na wachezaji wenye wako capable kucheza hiyo mpira ya kucheza, so itakuwa rahisi kama wataicheza. Sisi tuko na mbinu ya hatuna sahihi mbinu ya kucheza, tuko na mbinu sahihi ya kuchukua kikombe.
The whole point is to make the women's football on the continent come to some certain top standards, because when it comes to the football clubs on the men's side, they always play in their various countries at least to try and compete in the CAF Champions League. But now women can now look forward to something bigger, a bigger competition because of this, and that is the CAF Women's Champions League.
For tomorrow, we have two strong teams, Vihiga Queens and Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. For tomorrow, what will be going on, we'll see at the time.
Elsewhere, KCB football team has been called on to prepare themselves well so as to register good results and fight for next season's trophies in the Kenya Premier League. This was after the teams performed well in last season, finishing second on the FKF Premier League standings with 62 points. The Bankers won 18 matches, drew 8 times and lost 6 matches last season.
This thing is not about fighting for being a number A, it's fighting together. Fighting together, that's the most important thing. We'll reinforce the team, we will support you in reinforcing the team, we'll provide the equipment required, but then we'll demand results.
Daniel Mwendwa for Prime Edition Sports.
Meanwhile, FIFA Secretary General Ms. Fatma Samora has arrived in Kenya for a 2-day visit. Samora is accompanied on a trip to Kenya by FIFA's Chief Women's Football Officer Serfine Berman. The two are expected to grace the finals of the inaugural CAF Women Champions League Sekafa qualifiers at the Kasarani Stadium tomorrow to witness the crowning of the region's first ever representative to the CAF Women's Champions League. The SecGen will also hold talks with football leadership in the country. This is Samora's first visit to Kenya since her appointment to the position in 2016. Born in Senegal, Samora is the first woman and the first African to hold the position of FIFA Secretary General. Elsewhere, Shazana Anwar, an Olympian in archery, and sports administrator Halima Bakari have been awarded a scholarship to study an executive Masters of Arts in Olympic Studies at German Sport University Cologne for the period starting 2021 till 2023. The previous candidate from Kenya is Humphrey Ayange, former Kenya Sevens international and the current athletes representative of NOC and recently appointed to the IOC Athletes Commission.
Anwar, also known as Kuki, who was the flag bearer for Kenya in the Rio 2016 Olympics, has been representing the country in archery since 2005 and came to the peak of her career when she qualified to play at the Olympics.
It didn't even occur to me when I applied, and I had applied before for other scholarships, it didn't occur to me that this was something I could actually get. In my mind, it was an opportunity that I was trying for, but in my mind it was like, you're probably not going to get it. Like the others, or so on and so forth. So when I actually got it, I think it was literally shock. It probably still till today has not hit yet.
Shazana, who is currently a coach in archery, landed the award following a successful application among her peers. On her part, Halima Bakari, a sports administrator and currently serving in the coaching commission of Kenya Volleyball Federation, is one of 30 candidates in her class selected competitively from 125 applicants internationally, having successfully presented a project that fulfilled the university's requirements.
Basically, I'm looking at how our process of players transitioning from active sports to being inactive, or being from the limelight and just being out of a team or out of the national team, especially elite athletes.
The objective of the program is to help professionals working in sports develop knowledge required to better manage their organizations.
Well, that's all the time we have for sports. For more of that and, of course, all the stories that we have for you tonight, visit our YouTube channel, that is KBC Sports. Well, that's it for tonight. I'm Richard Munga. Back to you, JJ Kioria and Serfine Achieng. Good night.
All right, and also from our end, that is how we wrap it up, and appreciate you for being part of this and for the entire team that made this broadcast a success. Thank you so much. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma, and our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Anne Wangeshi.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. Up next, the rave.
Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 22 7428 Thika branch, 07